Hi everyone, it's Andrew here, and today we're going to be talking about how to improve your skill, coordination and balance on your board to help prevent you falling off. Point number one is to make sure that skater is riding their board as often as possible. Even small trips from the shop to the shop and back where you might otherwise walk, just use your board to get more comfortable on it. Number two is to actually loosen your trucks. So you'll get more familiar with the actual limits of the board by having a board which is more unstable. So I recommend over time slowly loosening those trucks, and as a byproduct of that you will get more confident. So in order to learn the limits of what their board and wheels can do, riders need to have loose trucks and they need to start playing with the board and having more fun with it. And by that I mean really start up shifting your weight into the corners, both front side, back side. Play with it, have some fun, and you'll be able to see where those bite points are by just listening to the wheels. You'll hear them screech when they start to lose traction. From there, it's just a very natural progression forward. But just to summarize, make sure that you're having fun with the board, loose trucks, and that you're proactive with finding those edges on the board on your rides. So what I mean by finding the edges is, as you're going, when you're doing steep carves, both front side and back side, doing it aggressively enough to feel that point where you start to lose traction. It's at that point when you lose traction and you get uncomfortable on the board that you'll start to actually get much more comfortable over time and help prevent injury and falling off. So there's two main things that will make them more comfortable and more confident on the board. The last thing you want to be thinking of when you're riding is, how far can I push this corner? How steep can I go before I lose the board? Really, really important as well for normal riding on the roads where it's not just you've got to consider all these other elements, other cars, other cyclists. You need to know how far you can push that board to make sure you don't accidentally breach that point and actually fall off and potentially really hurt yourself. It's really important to find those edges on different surfaces, because in real life there are different surfaces. It's not just about getting to a nice smooth road. I don't know if you can see what we're on now. But it's very consistent. Real life roads are especially in cities, they're not consistent. So you need to be familiar with what those changes feel like and be able to adapt to each situation as they arise. On top of making sure you ride as consistently as possible, so you're just putting more miles on your board and making sure you find those edges, I definitely recommend that you do actually find time in the day or throughout the week, whenever you have time to do it, to actually go out and practice slides, practice the progressions that we'll be doing videos on today. So it's not just learning your edges. As a byproduct of learning that, you can learn all of the other tricks with the board. So have that progressive mentality when you go out and do these slide sessions. It's a lot of fun, and that will really serve you for being able to ride the board comfortably, confidently, and without limiting your chances of falling off on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so there are 3 steps to this. Step 1 is to make sure you loosen your trucks. Make your life easier to begin with. Loose trucks means you can really crank that board around and you'll naturally find an easier sliding point. So as a beginner, loosen your trucks, get more comfortable with the board. Number 2, make sure when you actually go out on dedicated sliding sessions, you really try and find those edges. You've got to be proactive. It won't just come to you. You've got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and really putting your body weight into the corners and find it. You've got to find it. You've got to find that point where, the wheels start screeching. You feel the board start to slip both in front and back. And that means that you're going to be on that point where you're actually progressing. Step 3 is just to be consistent with it. It doesn't come overnight. You do have to make sure you go out and be consistent with your practice. From the nature of the beast, that it is an uncomfortable experience, especially when you start. And even if you learn what you need to do, and you learn that, say, first front side or backside drift or 180, you will lose it unless you're consistent with actually facing that fear and we're getting really comfortable with being uncomfortable over and over and over and over again. So the third point is just to be very consistent with going out and practicing. So the bonus step as an actual practical exercise you can do is, I'd start with backside. It's slightly easier than the front side, which is going this way. So backside, I'm regular. I'm going forwards this way. You start doing a wide circle, nice wide circle that you're comfortable with. Over time, you corkscrew in narrower and narrower and narrower. Once you get to a point, you'll start to feel yourself losing traction as you're doing that. So from there, you'll hear the wheel screeching. It'll be, so it's just a case of getting to that point and seeing how long you can hold that. That's probably the most important step to actually start finding your edges. So thanks for watching today, guys. To see more content from me, be sure to like and subscribe to this video and check out my Instagram. It's andrew.mcguinness.